Hi, it's Tim Hagen from Progress Coaching, and welcome to another episode for the Coaching Conversations podcast. Now, we are on Stitcher, we are on iTunes, and multiple different channels. Please check us out. Now, one of the things that you'll get out of our podcast episodes is a lot of content, a lot of strategy. It's not fluff, it's not concept, yet we really want you to engage with the content and let us know your feedback. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. If there's topics you'd love to have us address, we would love to share them with you. Let us know your impact and let us know your feedback. You know, one of the things I love about coaching and inquiring and asking people questions and learning, you learn what's possible. I remember many, many years ago when I was at IBM, I always got up early. I always went in and did I would say during my college internship, the grunt work. And I have to share this. I have developed that habit. I kept that habit. I still have that habit till this day. I was working out today at 5 a.m. I started my day at 6. By 3 o'clock, I've got a full day in, but I've got a large part of my day left over. So when you think about what's going on in the work world, you hear these things about, we need to go to the 4-day work week. I want to share with you a story as I was discussing with someone my philosophy. So I've started to take off Fridays. I leave Mondays for development day. And I tell my people who I work with, my team, hack everything you can in between Tuesday and Thursday for me. If we need to use a Friday or Monday, I'm cool with that, but I don't want it to become the norm. And it has given me so much time back in relaxation, which I don't typically do very well. So I was telling this guy about it and he said, well, you know what I do? And he works for an organization. He is a supervisor company, and he does work at a manufacturing services company. And he was telling me, he said, I start at 6 and I end at 2. And I work another job from 3 to 11. Now, these aren't jobs. These are career jobs. And I said to him, I said, oh my gosh. And he said, well, I'm an early bird like you. He said, I get up early. Even if I'm out till late in the night, he said, I'll still get up early. I'm like you. It's a habit, right? And he said, I work from 6 to 2. I take my lunch break somewhere in there. I get a little bit of break from 2 to 3. And then I start my other job from 3 to 11. And then I do that 4 days a work week because each of the shifts are typically considered full time. So I get 1 day off during the week, which I typically use as Fridays. I said, so let me understand something. You are on a 4-day work week, but a 3-day weekend. He said, well, actually, I have a part-time job in the weekends. And he said, it's, just my wife and I. So I get up early and I work this one part-time job for my buddy's company. And I said, oh my gosh, can I ask, where did you get this? He said, look, I'm about to turn 40. I've been doing this for 10 years. And he said, we still vacation. We still go out for dinner. He said, I still have a life. I still socialize. My wife and I still do a lot of stuff together. And he said, and I read an article, and I want everyone to hear this. This is why we coach. When you ask questions and you learn, you don't assume, you don't make a quick judgment and say, I can never do a 4-day work week, or that'll never work. And I said, boy, that's incredibly hard what you're doing. He said, what I'm basically doing is living off of one of those jobs. And all of a sudden I had this aha moment. And I sat there and I said, so the other job, you must just max out your 401k. And he said, I do in both. He said, I still live off the first job. My wife works. Now she works a normal 8 to 5 and she understands. He said, we talk every single day. When I get a break, we talk. And he said, I feel like we maximize our time. And I said, I have to ask you, I get what you're doing, but where did it come from? And he said, I saw parents, saw them work. I saw them do all these things until they were 60. And then my dad got sick and he never got to enjoy retirement. Now, ironically, I just turned 60. So I sat there and I said, boy, that's interesting. So what's the strategy? And he said, I'm about to turn 40. I've been doing this for 10 years. So in essence, in work years, I'm 50. And there was my aha moment. And I said, I have to ask you, do you own your own home? He said, yep, it's paid for. I said, 401k, I don't want to know the amount. He goes, no, we're good. He said, now, it's a habit. I like working, but will I do two jobs every single day? No, of course I won't. He said, but it really, really hit me that I thought, you know what? When I'm 30, I'm going to do this for 10 years. I'm not going to be extravagant. I'm not going to go out and buy vacation homes. I'm not going to buy these, $60,000, $70,000 cars. I'm going to enjoy my life. I'm going to enjoy my friends. I'm going to enjoy my wife. And here he is when he's turning 40. And I said, I have to ask you, what has that positioned you to do? He said, I could retire right now. He said, I'm not going to, but I could. Now, I want to also share with you a young lady that I met in New York who was telling me that she wanted to retire when she was 40 as well. I said, what are you talking about? She said, oh, my husband and I own a bunch of duplexes. And I said, oh, how many do you own? Now, I own 2 or 3 at one point. I'm thinking, how many does she have? She's much younger. She said, oh, we have 21. And every year we paid a chunk of the principal down. She said, by the time I'm 40, we will have a couple $1 million of real estate and a residual income, and we'll never look back. And I said, wow. I said, where did you get this insight? She said, my dad owned real estate. So the reason I'm sharing this isn't about retiring early, but it's about doing things differently. I would never think to go a hard 4 days a week. Now, from 6 to 11 o'clock at night. Now, I want to share this with you. The funny thing is I already do. Yet it's one job, yet he's doing 2 jobs, getting paid twice. He has doubled his salary. He negotiated 4 days for each company. He doesn't let him go on. He said, I need that day. It really rejuvenates me. He said, my wife will work and do the same thing, and we get days off. I just sat there and I said, wow, that is so cool. And he said, I have total financial control and freedom. He said, now when I'm in later years, I can live off of that savings. But he said, I wanted to do something different. I didn't want to wait. I thought, how do I maximize this? Here he is. These are not low-end jobs either. These are leadership positions. Now, someone might be listening to this saying, there's no way I would do that. Then don't. Yet it shows you, though, we can look at things differently. I'm a big fan of the 4-day work week. I really am. As long as we leverage those 4 days. Here's a guy who's working 2 jobs in 4 days. He's 40, I'm 60. Now, I could retire today. Technically, I could retire today and be really okay. So could he. 20 years ahead of me. It's a different way to look at things. So when I talk to my kids, and I was talking to my daughter about some things that she was doing, and I was telling another young lady at one of our client sites the story of, just the way you look at things. And she said, I really want to have my own side hustle. I said, oh, Inc. Magazine's got a great thing on side hustles. I said, what do you want to do? She said, I love the field that you're in. And she worked for a temp company or staffing company. And now she's starting to do this on the side. So she negotiated part-time with them, went down a little bit in salary, kept full benefits, and now she has her own side hustle going. See, I think when we accelerate income, I always tell people, when I hear people say things like, well, it's not all about money. Yeah, but having it makes it a lot easier than not having it. And we get caught up in the way things are done. But here are 2 clear examples of looking at things differently and doing things differently. Thank you for listening to another episode of Coaching Conversations by Tim Hagen and Progress Coaching. Now, our company is always coming out with new and innovative solutions to help leaders coach their employees. And recently, we just created a new service called Coach to You, where leaders can pick and choose topics and assign 7 to 21-day programs for employees to learn and, more importantly, apply actions and then reflect and share what they're going to do going forward as a result of the learning. It's called Coach to You. We're literally bringing coaching to your employees. If you're intrigued, we'll have a link in each one of our episodes where you can get more information. And again, thank you so much for listening to another episode.